and the person is bold to say it public. There's nothing wrong with saying, I designed this dress. But you now attach God to it. Say, the Holy Spirit inspired me. Then you look at the dress, the woman's cleavage is out.
Before we created Prissy's wedding dress, I had gone to God and said that I wanted to create a masterpiece for Prissy.
Watch how Veekee James was called out by this pastor for saying the Holy Spirit inspired her to make Priscilla Ojo's wedding dress. So Veekee James said the Holy Spirit inspired her to design Priscilla Ojo's wedding dress. Yes, you heard that correctly. According to her, while planning the design, she didn't just sketch or browse Pinterest. She prayed, and then she claims the Holy Spirit gave her the exact inspiration for the final gown. Some people clapped, others hissed, but the biggest reaction came from a pastor who boldly called her out. He didn't mention her name directly at first, but we all know who he was talking about. He said, and I quote, "God is not a fashion designer. The Holy Spirit is not in your tailoring room. Stop using the name of God to sell lace and shine." Now pause. This is Nigeria, and in Nigeria, once you mention God, you've crossed into sacred territory. People will either support you blindly or fight you with the Bible verse. But let's break this down properly. Veekee James is not just a tailor. She's an influencer, a celebrity designer, and most importantly, a Christian entrepreneur who constantly talks about God on her platform. Her brand is faith-based. She prays before fitting, worships during work, and her team even holds devotion section. So when she says the Holy Spirit gave her a gown design, to her fans is not out of character. It fits her pattern. But to this pastor and others like him, it's a serious issue. He said, and I quote again, "The Holy Spirit came to give us truth, to convict heart, and not to select bursting cuts and tray length." According to him, turning spiritual matters into tools for business is part of deception in today's world. And that statement sparked a blown online debate. People started dropping scriptures. Some said, didn't God give Basil artist skill in the Bible to build the temple? Others said this is blasphemy, using the name of the Holy Spirit to promote luxury fashion. And let's not forget the blogger. Every blog carried it. Veekee James dragged for involving Holy Spirit in wedding dress design, screenshots, Instagram reels, Facebook's pastors started giving their own opinions. Twitter, it was war. Let's be honest, this didn't blow up just because of the Holy Spirit's comments. It blew up because the dress was for Priscilla Ojo, Iyabo Ojo's daughter, a known celebrity kid. Every eye was on that wedding. So when Veekee James dropped that caption, it wasn't just fans that saw it. The entire nation saw it, including pastors, Muslims, atheists, and even people who don't believe in wedding girls. And the issue got messier. One lady commented, "So does it mean if I don't have the Holy Spirit, my wedding gown will be ugly?" Another asked, "Are we now saying the Holy Spirit cares about corset shaping and neckline?" Others defended that creativity comes from God. The same way pastors get sermons, fashion designers can get ideas from God too. But here where it really gets interesting. Another pastor, a younger, more social media savvy one, posted a video saying, "We shouldn't mock her." He said, "God gave Noah the design for the ark. He gave Moses the design for the tabernacle. Why can't he give Veekee James a dress design?" He added, God doesn't only speak in churches. He can speak in studios, tailoring rooms, and even while someone is cutting Ankara. Now the battle line was drawn. Team 1, this is a spiritual abuse. Stop dragging God into your business brand. Team 2, let people express their faith freely. God is not limited. Inspiration is spiritual. And you know, Nigerians, we took sides fast. Some called her a fake Christian. Others called the pastor a bitter man who doesn't understand modern Christianity. Midst of the drama, there were deeper questions that people started asking. What does divine inspiration really mean? Can God inspire your work even if it's not spiritual work? Is it wrong to give God glory for success in business, fashion, or entertainment? And one question that stood out, are we using God's name to avoid criticisms? Because once someone says the Holy Spirit gave me the idea, you automatically make yourself untouchable. If someone now says, I don't like this dress, it becomes, oh, so you are fighting what God gave me. You see the issue. Now let's talk about the business side. Veekee James is a brand, and like all brands, she understands the image sells. Attaching her design to spiritual backing makes her different. While others says, I studied fashion in Italy. She says, God gave me this vision. It makes her stand. And to be fair, it has worked. Brides book her months in advance. She's now the go-to designer for high-profile Christian weddings. Her spiritual branding is working, but that's also what makes the situation delicate. Because if everything is branded as Holy Spirit inspired, then any criticism becomes a spiritual attack. We remove the freedom to judge our work based on design, creativity, or even pricing. It becomes touch not God's anointed, but is that healthy? God deserves reverence. Should we treat his name with that level of casualness, or are we being too sensitive? Even celebrities started dropping their opinions. One actress said, I believe God can give us inspiration in anything we do. Another said, we have turned God into a brand ambassador for everything. So where do we draw the line? We have already seen people say God told them to start a lipstick line, or that the Holy Spirit led them to launch a perfume brand. It sounds innocent, even sweet, but it raises real question about how we reference God in public spaces. Let's be clear, there is nothing wrong with being a Christian entrepreneur. There is nothing wrong with saying, I thank God or God helped me. But the moment we start saying, God gave me this exact business idea, we need to be very sure because people are watching. Young Christians are watching. People who are trying to understand God are watching. And if it turns out we are just using God's name to make our brand look spiritual, that's dangerous. At the same time, let's also be careful not to bust God. If we believe He is truly sovereign, then we must believe He can inspire arts, fashion, film, and music, not just preaching. Maybe the real issue is not what Veekee James said, but how casually it was said in an Instagram caption under a glam photo on a platform full of filters and likes. Maybe what's sacred has now become trendy. Maybe we now treat spiritual things as hashtags. And Veekee James might truly have been inspired by the Holy Spirit, or maybe she just wanted to give God the glory for her success. But the bigger lesson here is about balance, balancing faith with professionalism, inspiration with excellence, and God's name with true reference. Because in this country, people believe in God deeply. And when you bring God into your work, you must also accept that people will hold you to a higher standard. So whether you support her or not, one thing is clear. This one dress caused a national debate, not because of the fabric, not because of the style, but because someone said the Holy Spirit gave me this idea. And in Nigeria, once you involve the Holy Spirit, you must be ready for holy scrutiny. Say whatever you want to say about Veekee James, but one thing nobody can deny is this. She's exceptionally good at what she does. Her work speaks for itself. Every stage, every detail, every finish flawless. She doesn't just make clothes. She creates moments. Her dresses hug the body like they were poured on. Her bridal gowns are not just outfits, they are arts. She has set a standard in Nigerian fashion industry that many admire and even more try to copy. Whether it's a red carpet dress or a church wedding outfit, the excellence is always there. She pays attention to details. She understands body structure. She respects her client's vision and still brings her own brilliance into every piece. So yes, the Holy Spirit's comments may have raised eyebrows, but Veekee James, her talent is not up for debate. Whether her inspiration came from heaven or hard work or both, what she delivered was excellence, and that in itself is undeniable. So guys, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment.